Hello there, I'd like to welcome you to this seamless cloud connectivity demonstration that's been brought to you by Renesas and Quantique. My name is Chris Jones and I'm the Security Solutions Specialist at Quantique. Let's have a look at the two products that we're going to showcase today. Firstly, there's the Renesas RA microcontroller family. These are based on an ARM Cortex-M core. These microcontrollers provide you with stronger embedded security through the use of their secure cryptographic engine. They have superior core mark performance and ultra-low power operation, which is what we've come to expect from Renesas microcontrollers. Let's now have a look at the QuarkLink. This is a software package that is provided to you by Quantique. The package runs in the cloud and provides security from chip to application, encrypting your data from the device through the cloud service provider to your actual application running in the cloud. It also allows you to own the public key infrastructure of your certificate and key management service. It also supports, of course, the Renesas secure cryptographic engine, which it uses for its root of trust. Let's have a look at the demo setup that we're using today. So first of all, I'm using an evaluation kit from Renesas. This is the RA6M3, which you can see here. For my Wi-Fi connection, I'm using a Wi-Fi PMOD expansion board, which you can also get from Renesas. On this board we have a Silex Wi-Fi module. I also need a console output to connect to my PC, so I'm using a UART to USB adapter board. You can see here it's plugged into my PC laptop. Down here I've provided you with the part numbers of the equipment that I'm using for this demonstration. Okay, so let's have a look at this demo. So what I'm going to start with is E2 Studio. You can see here that I have my project loaded. All I've changed on this project is my Wi-Fi credentials so it can hook into my local network. And what this is going to do, this project, is take some temperature information from the RA device on the board. It has a temperature sensor internally, and I'm going to transmit that to AWS. So I'm going to use it in debugger mode, so let's go to debug. So we're going to download the code to the board, and while it's doing that, I'm going to show you some other windows I have open. So here you can see I've got a terminal emulator. This is connected to the PMOD2 port I showed you earlier. And then down here I have two other windows open. One is connected to QuarkLink. This is running actually on a cloud service by Azure. It can run as a software as a service software package, or it can run on any customer's infrastructure. And I also have my AWS account open, which is where I hopefully will be able to transmit the temperature. So let's go back to E2 Studio. I'll reduce the window here so you can see the output on the console as it fires up. So here we go. Let's start running, and you can see straight away we've got some information on the console. Okay, so we have some simple commands on this demo. So the first thing I'm going to do is check to see if an identity has been established yet. So if I click I and return, it says no, there has not been an identity. What this means is that the software has not requested that the secure cryptographic engine inside the RA device, it's not been requested to generate a key pair, an asymmetric key pair, as yet, because that's how we extract the identity. So if I click next, what will happen now is the device will first connect to my Wi-Fi, and then it will ask the Renesas device to generate a key pair. From that key pair, the device will hash the public part and provide that to me. The cool thing about this from a security viewpoint, of course, is that these identities and these keys do not leave the device. They're not injected in any way, they are generated by the silicon itself. So here you can see the device ID in the console. So that is the ID that I'm going to use to configure the QuarkLink. So I'm going to copy that ID and then move over to the QuarkLink. So here we have the front-end dashboard of the QuarkLink, and it just shows you some information about connected devices. Of course I don't have any connected right now, but it just gives you status information. So I'm going to go to devices and I'm going to create a batch. What a batch is like a run of manufactured products. Say you've made 1,000 fridges, then you would put those 1,000 fridges in this batch, and you would provide it with a policy to explain how to connect that batch of fridges to a cloud service provider. In our case, we're going to use AWS today. So I'm going to create a batch. It's just going to be a demo batch. I'll call it Renesas demo. And now I need to associate this batch with a policy. So I'm going to use my AWS policy. What that's doing is it's saying for this batch of products that will communicate with you, associate them with this policy, i.e. this AWS account, this privileges, etc. Now what I'm going to do is paste this device identity into this batch, because of course I want this device to enroll, and I'm going to add it. Now this looks quite clunky. Of course you will not do this in the real world. These identities will be extracted as part of the provisioning process of your fridges in this case, and you will be able to automatically import them into this QuarkLink instance as a batch. But I'm just showing you here to do it manually so that you understand how the identity works. So I'm going to save my batch. The QuarkLink has now been configured to say if this device tries to communicate with you with this identity, onboard it to AWS with this policy. So let's see that in action. So I'll go back to the console, click Next to continue, and what it's going to do now is generate a certificate signing request and send that to QuarkLink, expecting to be enrolled. And you can see that there has been an exchange with this QuarkLink. So let's open it up. And you can see in my batch I have this identity. It has definitely been enrolled, you can see here, and a certificate has been provided to the device, which you can see here. Good. So let's have a look now at the device connecting to AWS. If we go to my AWS account and search for this particular identity, we'll see that it has not yet communicated with AWS. It of course hasn't onboarded yet. AWS does not know anything about this device. When I press no next on the console, what will happen is the QuarkLink will send a verification certificate and credentials to AWS to inform AWS that if this device tries to communicate with you, it is okay to onboard that device and connect. So let's see that in action. So if I click next, what we'll see now is that you'll see an endpoint here, which is what the endpoint is, or the URL that the device will try to use to connect to AWS. Now that endpoint would have been provided to the device through the certificate it was sent from the QuarkLink. And lo and behold, the device has been able to connect to AWS, and it is now sending the temperature information. So if I research in AWS for my device, you'll see it has now appeared. So it looks like that device has been registered and connected. Under security, I can actually have a look, and there has been a certificate generated for this device. Let's have a look inside. You can see the Renesas demo, you can see the identity is the same, and you can see that the certificate was recently generated. In fact, a few minutes earlier. You can see on my clock down here, it's 2 minutes ago. So let's see if we can actually see the data being sent. So I'm going to subscribe to a topic, which is of this device, my identity of course, and it's going to be temperature. So if I subscribe and look on the console, up here you'll see a temperature of 71.43 was sent, and down here at AWS it received the temperature correctly. So let's have a look at the possible situation where I want to remove this device from AWS. Maybe it's been compromised in some way. The QuarkLink has a really cool feature where we can go in here and I can actually revoke this device. And what will happen here is the QuarkLink will remove the device from its connection to AWS. So I've revoked it. Over here on the console, hopefully you will see that the device has been removed from the AWS and can no longer communicate with it. So you can see here it says it can no longer publish. There's been a network error, so basically the QuarkLink has removed the device. So I hope what that shows you is how easy the QuarkLink allows onboarding of your product. And the QuarkLink can also be used to remove the device from the onboarding process. Thank you very much for watching the demo. I hope you found it useful.